Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Public Works for today, Monday, March 13th, 2017.
Commissioner Rivas, repenting. Mic on? Commissioner Rivas, repenting James, and Jacinto are present. President James, we have a quorum. May we start with Bureau introductions, please?
Good morning. Craig Shaw, Bureau of Street Services.
Good morning. Michael Simpson, LA Sanitation.
Good morning. Uri Jimenez, Bureau of Engineering.
Good morning. Frank Rinaldo with the Bureau of Contract Administration.
Good morning. Asad Al-Najjar, Bureau of Street Lighting.
Good morning. Ted Jordan, Public Works General Counsel.
Fernando Campos, Executive Officer. President James, we received speaker cards under general public comment. We have no commentary under the Neighborhood Council comment section, and we also received speaker cards on all the items for today's agenda.
Okay, we'll close the Neighborhood Council category of commentary. Is there a second to my motion that we approve the meeting minutes from the meeting of Friday, February 24th, 2017 by Commissioner Repenning? Any objection? Without objection, we will do that. The Bureau has requested that we continue agenda item number 7 to March 20th, 2017, which is a week from today. That's Monday, March 20th, 2017, for agenda item number 7. Agenda item number 1, Bureau of Engineering budget contingency increase and change orders from Ford EC Incorporated for the Hyperion Treatment Plant Truck Loading Facility Odor Control Modernization Project in Council District 11, recommending that the board authorize $250,000 in additional contingency and approve a revised construction budget of $6,294,850 for the project, and authorize the city engineer to issue change order numbers 7, 10, 11, and 12 for the project. We have a card on number 1 that says Wayne from Encino.
You're a piggy.
Come on, drop him like you mean it.
It's too smart for you.
You're piggy. Okay. We'll get you more money. Don't worry, we'll get you more money.
There you have it, folks.
That's right. Yes, that was the contractor asking for some more money because $6.294 million ain't enough. No, so today we're going to give a nice gift of $250,000 of additional free money. Let's give them a hand. Yes, that's what we're here for. We're here for the money. Show me the money. You know, a guy won an Academy Award for that shit, right? Show me the money. Well, $250,000, and I just would say that you can buy a lot of campaign donations at $250,000. You can buy a lot of prostitutes for $250,000, and you can buy a lot of booze for $250,000. Like Daddy said, the 3 B's. Booze, broads, and booty. At $250,000, going to buy a lot of that. So that's good. Thank you. And I would only ask that you make it $50,000 more to make it $300,000 because $250 is kind of hard to think about. You know, I don't know. You know, sometimes you write the check wrong. So just make it a nice even $300,000. I mean, since we're giving away $250, what the hell's another $50,000? It's nothing. So please augment this to $300,000.
Thank you, Mr. Spindler. Amy So, and recognizing, Ms. So, that the board report breaks down the cost of each of the change order items, but pointing out that $156,000 is for added contingency, budget authority. So go ahead.
Sure. Good morning. I'm Amy So from the Bureau of Engineering's Environmental Engineering Division, and I'm here for the Hyperion Treatment Plant Truck Loading Facility Odor Control Modernization Project. The request is to increase the budget contingency and issue change order numbers 7, 10, 11, and 12 to the contractor. The contract for this project was awarded in June of 2015 to Ford EC Incorporated, and the construction budget was $6,044,850, and that included a 5% contingency. The project is to install 2 new chemical odor scrubber systems and the associated equipment to serve the Hyperion truck loading facility, and this is an important project to provide for air quality for both the employees at the site, at the plant, and as well as the surrounding community. The project is currently about 50% complete, as shown in the photograph. The remaining work includes installation of foul air ducting, rehabilitation of the existing fan system, instrumentation and controls, as well as electrical work, the testing of the new chemical scrubber systems, and then demolishing and removing the old chemical scrubbers which are on top of the roof of the truck loading facility. So change order number 7 is to install structural supports at 8 locations for the new foul air duct. It's a 60-inch diameter duct that runs from the fans to the chemical scrubbers, and that's for an estimated amount of $64,000. The contract documents referenced installation of the ducts onto structural steel members. However, the ducts actually require support from the new concrete slab. Change order number 10 is to install structural supports at 2 locations for the new foul air duct at the blower pads for an estimated amount of $8,000. And also in this case, the contract documents referenced installation onto steel members, but the ducts need to be installed onto concrete. And then change order number 11 is for installing an external manifold to connect a 3-spray header array onto a connection for a single spray head for an estimated amount of $12,000. And the 3-spray header array is necessary to achieve the proper wetting and scrubber system performance for this system. And the contract documents in this case only showed a single spray head with a single connection. And then finally, change order number 12 is for installation of swing check valves with full flow functionality at the chemical scrubbers for an estimated amount of $10,000, and that is to achieve the proper scrubber system performance. The swing check valves require full flow functionality, not partial flow functionality, and the contract documents did not call for this requirement. And then we're anticipating that we'll need $156,000 in additional contingency to complete remaining work and any potential change orders due to unforeseen conditions, and those could include installation and controls, installation conflicts and troubleshooting, electrical troubleshooting, utility interferences, and any city-related delays. And we're recommending that the board authorize an additional $250,000 in additional contingency and approve a revised construction budget, which would be $6,294,850.
Commissioner Jacinto?
Thank you, President James. Amy, good morning.
Morning.
So in terms of, can you help justify sort of the overall, the 2 new chemical odor scrubbers, why it wasn't in the original scope of work, and sort of, I understand that there's $156,000 we're asking to sort of finish out, but in terms of these 3 change orders, why was not the chemical scrubbers included in the original scope of work?
The duct supports, you mean?
Or the whole entire, the cost related to these 3 change orders?
These we're classifying these as errors and omissions types of change orders, so they were things that were overlooked during the design portion of the project. The manifold, that one, it sort of falls into sort of an unforeseen condition with the 3-spray versus the single spray. We based that on the old scrubber system that had a single spray, and we anticipated another single spray system, but during the course of the construction, that portion of it, the subcontractor was to provide the design for the spray system, and at that point then we found out that it needed a 3-spray instead of single spray.
Okay. All right, so that's sort of the explanation for those 3, and the 156 additionally, we may not spend that. You're talking about projected unforeseen conditions, so we may not spend that total.
Correct. That's what we're projecting at this point in the progress, which is at about 50% construction.
Okay. All right, thank you, Amy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Jacinto. Answer my questions. Anything further? Commissioner Santos made a motion that we adopt agenda item number 1. Commissioner Rivas has seconded it. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 1. Any issue sending number 1 forthwith? We'll send number 1 forthwith. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Agenda item number 2, Council District 14, change orders requested, Papich Construction Company Incorporated. This is on asphalt plant number 1, replacement and modernization project. Recommending that the board authorize the city engineer to finalize and issue change order number 7 for Papich for an amount of $2,305,445 to install an alternate foundation system for the administration building and major plant equipment, which consists of contaminated soil removal, treatment and replacement instead of pile foundations, and removal and disposal of contaminated soil. Secondly, authorize the city engineer to finalize and issue deductive change order number 8 to Papich for an amount of $2,454,893 to delete the pile foundations and contaminated soil removal and disposal. So that's a delta of roughly $150,000 towards the deductive side. Number 3, authorize the city engineer to issue change order number 10 to Papich for an amount of $849,447 for plant enhancements that we will hear about in a moment. Mr. Spindler on agenda item number 2.
I don't slack when it comes to street. I kick real G funk to a gangster beat. It's so sweet. When you got money to spend, I got a proper big skills that I fly big fans. I make in.
Yo, so now we be talking about $2.4 million of free money. Yeah. Pile foundations, removal of contaminated soil. Nobody know what this is. Nobody care what this is. Nobody knows what this change order is. Nobody knows what's really going to be done. All we know is we sitting in those chairs all nice and pretty in our little costumes, our little jewelry, our little goddamn bling bling, yo. While we all sit here and act like we are determining what's happening with taxpayer money. No, we're not. We don't have a clue. We just drinking our coffee, and you can drink your coffee, but over here on the ropes with the ghetto over here, the officer will not allow me to have a cup of coffee. But you can drink yours, Penny. You can drink your cup of coffee while you sit there, hold your hand down, and go ahead and check your email, wondering what time you're going to have your lunch. Nobody care about none of this stuff. That lady there don't care. The Davis man don't care. Now Joel, he care. Now here's the problem, is that you guys got to work on getting Joel out of here because he's the only one actually doing the job. Yeah, he knows you're stealing, right? He knows you're stealing, but you see the other four there, they know they stealing, but the difference is they're going to be covering their ass under something called federal limited liability. You see, when you go over there to the federal courthouse, you file for limited liability, see? So you can just keep on stealing, and I just say congratulations, and we'll go ahead with me and Tupac, and we gonna watch more stealing. Peace out.
Thank you, Mr. Spindler. On number 2, Reza Bagherzadeh. Good morning, Reza.
Good morning. I'm Reza Bagherzadeh from Bureau of Engineering, Architecture Division. Asphalt plant number 1 is about a $31 million project to replace the old 1947 asphalt plant. And we started this project as a design-build project in order to make sure we use the outside contractors in completing the design process. And after we finished the 30% design, we bidded the project, and we got bid from 3 contractors. And one of the contractors who became the low bid is a Papich, which has 3 asphalt plants. They constructed it, and they are operating it. So it gives us a lot of help in brainstorming and designing an asphalt plant that is maximum optimized. So during the design process, the contractor offered us various design methods to speed up the construction as well as to provide some cost saving in the future. The foundation system was one of them. Original design called for removing the contamination as well as adding driven pipe. The contractor came out and told us if we do not remove the contamination and treat it on site and put the building and equipment on conventional footing, it will be a lot faster and less tedious. And as a result, the contractor for change order number 7 wanted to give the city about $2.3 million. And the deductive alternate, as a result of doing the alternate foundation, is about 2.45. So there's a net saving of 150,000, which also speed up the construction. Change order number 10 is asking for $849,000, in which the contractor would provide a elevator in lieu of a big conveyor, which is a lot of cost saving during maintenance. They are providing a tech tank, which also make the city able to buy a lot more oil during the operation, so they don't have to get oil on a daily basis. That's a cost saving in the future, as well as having a bin to store material. So these are all operational efficiencies in the future of the asphalt plant. And this additional change order in the amount of $840,000 was approved by General Manager of Bureau of Street Services.
Reza, just taking off on your last point, is it a fair statement giving, it seems like it is, but I just want to put it in different terms, I guess. Is it a fair statement given the life of the asphalt plant that this improvement, the enhancement of the elevator as you've described it with the additional storage, will pay for itself over time?
The whole asphalt plant pays for itself
Understood.
in 7-8 years, so this should pay for itself within a few years.
Okay.
Yes.
At about $5 million a year, it pays for itself over time.
Yes.
Yes. Commissioner Jacinto.
Thanks, President James. Reza, thank you for this report. I appreciate the narrative and the discussion about the justification of the efficiencies, that this being a process, a byproduct of design build, where we work together with the contractor to find efficiencies. That's what that's all about. I understand that the total impact is about 700,000.
Yes.
Which places our change orders about 2.1%, 2.15,
right,
which is a great tolerance for a very large and important project. So we're right on with this.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Jacinto. Commissioner Davis.
Yeah, I'm wanting to compliment us on absolutely embracing the planned efficiencies that can occur in this project, and also in terms of the work of just asphalt in general, has broad-based impact in terms of the various areas of construction work from various communities. Could you just briefly give me an overview of our inclusion on this particular project? First of all, this is a local funded project, is that correct?
It's MICLA.
Is it federal? There's no federal funds in this project.
It's only MICLA General Fund.
So it is local funding.
Yes.
Could you just give me a brief overview of the diversity or the plans of inclusion for this particular project?
Are you asking about business inclusion program on this project? Well, the contractor is really, I can take you to the original board report. The contractor who bidded on this project as a low bid, he's from Fresno area. But he has hired a lot of sub from the local area. Yeah, that's really, to the best of my knowledge, that's what they're doing. You know, as you notice that they are complying on the original board report with MIBI of about 0.5%, SBE, EBE, DVBE about 7.6%, additional SBE to the tune of 3%, and OBEs of various kind for different contractors to 2%, 6%, 2%. So they have a wide range of BIP compliance.
Great, and I know we always can't predict what, in fact, the outcome of the selections for subs will be. In this case, however, I'm very glad to see the results in terms of us being able to have great impact in terms of inclusion in various communities in Los Angeles. So for that, in addition to the plan efficiencies that we will be able to embrace as a result of this project, I'm very glad to see this project presented, and certainly I would support it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Commissioner Davis. Anybody else with questions or comments on agenda item number 2? I'll make a motion that we adopt agenda item number 2, seconded by Commissioners Jacinto and Davis. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 2. Any issues sending number 2 forthwith? We'll send number 2 forthwith. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. I want to add another thing. We had an item on the same project, change order number 4, for a credit of $120,000. And it was supposed to be on a last week agenda. We asked to be transferred to this week so we can present it to you in one presentation. And I noticed that it wasn't on the agenda, and I wanted to make sure the board executive can.
Yeah, Reza, Fernando Campos, Executive Officer, just to answer your question, since you brought it up, that report was never received by our office, so therefore it's not on the agenda for today's agenda.
Okay. We'll do that on the next week. Thank you.
Reza, you can submit that today, and when they post for Friday morning, tomorrow, they can put it up tomorrow.
Sure. We'll put it in today so that it'll be on Friday.
Is that right, Fernando? We can get it posted for Friday?
So long it's received within the next hour, 12 o'clock at the latest.
If it's not next Monday, we'll do that then.
Okay.
Thank you.
Whatever you can do.
Sure.
All right, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Agenda item number 3, Council District 15, Construction Services Contract, Capital Improvement Project, Terminal Island Water Reclamation Plant, Plant Influent Monitoring System, recommending that the board authorize the city engineer to use the construction services contract and to issue task work orders to the contractor for an amount not to exceed $470,000 for the Terminal Island Water Reclamation Plant Influent Monitoring System. On number 3, Wayne from Encino, Mr. Spindler on number 3.
That's right. The never-ending final, man. The Terminal Island Water Reclamation Plant funnel. Billions of dollars being funneled into that foe. Nothing getting done. $470,000 of stolen money. Yes, I think that's good. Let's see what Eazy-E think about that shit. Yeah. Let's make it 500,000, yo. I ain't good with math. That's right, that's the budget there. See, too much talking. You got to move this meeting a little faster, yo, because I got to go meet with my G's, man. But approve it at 500,000.
Thank you, Mr. Spindler. On number 3, Ms. So, welcome back.
Thank you. Amy So here from the Bureau of Engineering's Environmental Engineering Division, and this is for the Terminal Island Water Reclamation Plant Influent Monitoring System project, and we're requesting to utilize the Cisco contract for this project. For reference, Cisco stands for Construction Services Contract, and it's a contracting mechanism used by the Bureau of Engineering for small, urgently needed projects that relate to wastewater, environmental issues, or pollution control, and it's a contract with a cost ceiling of $12 million and a 3-year duration, and the Bureau issues task work orders under this contracting mechanism as needed, and also the contractor is competitively selected. The background for this project is that at Terminal Island, wastewater is received through 4 different force mains, and it's a mixture of municipal and industrial wastewater. The 4 force mains merge within the plant boundaries prior to reaching the headworks building, and the plant periodically receives non-routine episodic discharge, and the term for that is slug loads. And so they receive these slug loads from various industrial sources, and these slug loads negatively impact the plant's biological treatment process as well as all the processes downstream of that. And this potentially has negative impacts on the advanced water processing facility, which was recently dedicated in February, going from 6 million gallons per day to 12 million gallons per day. So this advanced water processing facility provides a reliable source of high-quality product water to different recycled water customers. The plant needs a very reliable monitoring system, and this monitoring system will help them to identify the origin of any slug loads that they receive, as well as it will send an alert to the operator so that the operator can make operational adjustments. The existing monitoring system at the plant is irreversibly plugged up and it's not functioning, and it's also reached the end of its useful life. The photograph in the board report shows the old sensors that are part of the monitoring system. The scope of this project will involve removing the existing sampling system, as well as all of the pumps, piping, electrical, and instrumentation and controls related to that system. And it will install a new automated sampling system with all of the appropriate sensors and associated electrical, instrumentation, controls, and piping. And also under this project, we're going to install a manual sampling system for each of the 4 force mains. The cost for this project is not to exceed $470,000, and that includes a 20% construction contingency. So it's essential to utilize Cisco for this project due to its size and also its urgent nature. The Bureau of Sanitation has requested that we expedite the installation of these of this new monitoring system because of the advanced water processing facility. And the Bureau will be issuing negotiated task work orders to the contractor to purchase equipment, install equipment, and then demolish and remove the old equipment. And a conventional bid and award process would be too time-consuming to carry out this type of effort. So therefore, we're recommending that the board authorize the utilization of Cisco for this project.
Okay, thank you, Ms. So. Commissioner Davis?
In terms of you talked about the scope of work, and you talked about the urgency of implementing this contract right away. In terms of the time that we anticipate to start and to finish the project, given its urgency, could you tell me when it is that we want to obviously start it immediately, and what would be the duration of time in which we anticipate completion of the project?
Sure. The anticipated duration of this work will be about 4 months.
Thank you. Anything further? On number 3, Commissioner Sintos made a motion that we adopt agenda item number 3, seconded by Commissioner Davis. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 3. And is she sending it forthwith? We'll send it forthwith. Thank you, Ms. So.
Okay, thank you.
Agenda item number 4, Bureau of Sanitation, amendment to task order solicitation number SN6 to CH2M Hill Engineers Incorporated, recommending that the board first authorize that the director of the Bureau of Sanitation or his designee issue amendment number 1 to toss SN6 to CH2M Hill Engineers. Second, authorize spending an additional budget of $4,200,000 and approve a revised total budget authority of $10,200,000 to fund the following additional services: implementation assistance, citywide media outreach, diversion and disposal compliance tracking system development, waste composition studies, facility certification, and compliance system development. Third, approve extending the term of engagement for TOS SN6 to August 3rd, 2019. Fourth, authorize the Bureau of Sanitation to exercise up to a 5-year renewal option of TOS SN6 upon approval by the board to exercise the 5-year renewal option of the parent on-call contract. This, of course, in relation to the exclusive commercial and multifamily solid waste franchise system. Mr. Spindler, you have a card on number 4. Lane from Encino.
But that's not the point, my friends. When the money keeps rolling in, you don't ask.
Keep it rolling in. Keep it rolling in. Good job, Garcetti.
Would you like to try a college education?
Fuck no.
Own your landlord's house, take the family on vacation.
Why not?
Ava and her blessed fun can make your dreams come true. Here's all you
In LA, it's called Mycla.
write your name and your dream on a card or a pad or a ticket.
It's going to be an indictment one day.
She will change your way of life for a week or even
But we're going to keep it rolling.
one who cares as much as Eva Pero.
That money rolling in. $4.2 million of free money. Garcetti.
The money kept rolling out in all directions. To the poor,
Well, it doesn't go to the poor of the week.
no say, let's claim a little of the cash.
It goes to Wall Street.
But that's
Mycla.
point, my friends. When the money
88,000 pages on a hard drive, thumb drive, dude.
tell you've done well by the happy and great.
See you in federal court.
Thank you, Mr. Spindler. On number 4, Lisa Carlson.
Good morning, Board President, Commissioners, Board Representatives, Council, and Board Executive Officer. I'm Lisa Carlson, and I'm with the Solid Waste Franchise System, part of LA Sanitation. And I'm here today to talk about the amendment to TOS SN6. TOS SN6 has been used to support the franchise from its infancy. CH2M Hill, as the prime, has provided support during the evaluation and negotiation stages of the franchise. These are tasks 1 and 2 for the TOS. As the franchise progresses through task 3, the transition, CH2M Hill continues to support this program. LA San brought forth a staffing plan, which was approved by the Board of Public Works and City Council in 2014. The staffing plan included the creation of a new division and 70 new full-time positions through its development and implementation. The staffing plan included utilization of contracted staff to get through the transition and into the implementation of the transition. Contracted staff will be transitioned through the budget process as necessary as the franchise system enters its steady state and into from transition staff into full-time permanent staff. With this amendment, LA San requests an additional 18 months to the end of the TOS, so that the end of the TOS will coincide with the end of the overarching on-call contract. It also requests a possible addition of a 5-year renewal for the option to coincide with the parent on-call contract if that one is also extended. Additionally, this amendment includes a request to increase funding, and I'd like to take a moment to point out that some of this is covered for this discussion in transmittal number 5, which I believe was submitted to you earlier. This funding is primarily for three new tasks, 4 new tasks and the additional one that we have here. So the largest amount is to provide additional staffing in the approved plan. This is a total increase of $1.1 million to Agile One, who is a minority business enterprise. There's also an additional $555,000 to Eugene Singh and Associates. They have a series of significant tasks, as shown in tasks 5, 6, and 7. They will calculate the flow of material through each facility. That's all the material in each waste stream coming from each hauler through each facility. Additionally, they will use this information to translate it to a landfill reduction. And that can also be used to show greenhouse gas reduction from this project. seems like a simple concept, but it's actually quite difficult to accomplish. And additionally, they will provide general support for the facility program certification program, which will be certifying all facilities used under the franchise program. And additionally, there's $1 million for the hiring of an advertising firm for the branding of the franchise system, as well as outreach and education before and during the initial portion of the franchise system. This program was initially planned as far as this franchise program. We ask that you allow all 4 recommendations and approve the amendment to TOS SN6.
Thank you, Ms. Carlson. Commissioner Repenning?
Sure, I just wanted to comment on this item. As you all know, we are in the process of implementing our franchise program. We have a very aggressive timeline for transitioning the accounts over starting in July 1st of this year. We are expected to have everything completely transitioned over within 6 months, so by the end of this year. So sanitation staff is on a very aggressive timeline. They're working very hard, and part of what we're doing here today is adding the additional funds that will be necessary to handle the work of the facility certification program and the media / city-based outreach work that we need to do in order to get all of that accomplished. So it is a large amount to add to an existing TOS, but we are absolutely, I think, work with CH2M on this project has been, they've delivered a very high-quality work product. I believe it makes sense to continue working with them on this. And this also helps us meet those deadlines. I did request an amendment to the board report because I felt like it was important to be able to be clear about where the additional funds are going, since the way it was laid out in the board report that's in your binder you kind of have to flip back and forth to see where the new money that we're adding is being spent. So you have a one-pager here, it's double-sided.
Yes.
On the back, table 5 shows specifically, these are the 5 areas that the additional funds are going to be going to. The first area is to the prime. The second area is to Agile 1, which is temporary staffing. So a lot of the work that we're going to be doing, especially with our customer service, we have temporary staffing needs that we're going to see how they play out over time, and the plan is to fill them with permanent staffing in a way that makes sense. And then another larger amount to an advertising firm. The sanitation staff has been in the process of interviewing. They've got some folks who are interested in working with us on this. This will be the advertising program to really get the word out. It's going to be a lot of work to make sure that this entire very large city and all of the many 65,000 plus accounts that are affected have the information that they need as we enter this program. So that is what we're doing here today. I support this item, and I appreciate the staff work that's been done in getting us to this point.
So thank you, Commissioner Repenning. Ms. Carlson, either whoever you prefer, yourself or Mr. Myers, whoever would like to talk about a couple of things: the diversion disposal compliance tracking system, as well as the waste composition studies. Tell us a little bit about that. Those only because when I see the diversion and disposal compliance tracking system development, it makes me optimistic that we have something on the level of recognizing it's not the same thing, but we could have a data system that maybe is similar in result or information that it gives us, keeping it in context with what we get from CleanStat and other cool things that have come from the Bureau of Sanitation with data, and we've got from some other bureaus too. Is this one of those, or am I misreading it?
It is related to that. We do have a system for keeping that information, for storing that information, but what we're developing here is a system to determine that information. So this is going to include things like actually going out to facilities and determining, ensuring that their reporting is accurate, determining how much waste they are taking in and how much of that can be diverted from landfills, okay? And in addition, tracking that so that we can determine greenhouse gas reductions as well as just the landfill reductions. So it will be on that order. The data storage will be in a separate system that we're also working on. There are also going to be just waste composition studies, and it's going to be training LA San staff to be able to do these waste composition studies eventually ourselves. So, and the last thing is that we want to work on optimizing the existing facility evaluations to make sure that facilities do meet all the requirements that we have in the current franchise system.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Commissioner Davis?
I wanted to say how appreciative I am that we are moving forward on the franchise, and I understand, as has been stated, how important, critically important this project is. I want to focus once again, as I always do, on the fact that we have been able to put together a credible program that not only shows that we can get this done, but shows us that we can work with various communities within the city of Los Angeles and get this done. Therefore, I wanted to compliment you on being an exemplar in terms of being a contractor with the city of Los Angeles. And too often, we have people that come before us to get it done, but they can never achieve it in a way in which all of the various different diverse groups in Los Angeles are part of getting it done. And I have observed that not only have you reached out to various communities, you've reached out to protect particularly those who have not necessarily always been included in the past. And I have the greatest appreciation for that. And I think it's our responsibility on the board, while we complain on one hand to many others who come before us, to also compliment those who are exemplars like you guys at CH2M Hill on the other hand. And today I'm very proud to do that and to say that I hope that you will continue to provide the vision and the results on these kinds of projects and taking our bureaus to places where perhaps they may not have imagined that we could go, not only in terms of getting the job done, but getting it and how we get it done, basically, as has been reflected in the mayor's back to basic principles when he says that he wants to provide employment in Los Angeles, and he underscores all of Los Angeles. And I think you're a fine example in helping us to achieve that. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Davis. Commissioner Rivas?
Thank you. These new components for this system really seem very well outlined here, and I know a lot of it's expertise that we don't have internally, right, in our bureaus. So I'm glad that we're including this as part of this system. My question was related to the citywide media and outreach. That the advertising firm will be handling that. Is that targeting the businesses and everyone affected by the franchise system, or is it just also to the public? Do you know?
It'll be primarily targeting them, but the public will hear about this.
Okay, so it'll have some type of brand that everyone will know that this is a new way that LA San is handling this,
Exactly.
right?
Certainly part of this advertising program is to brand the LA Sands franchise system. That is definitely a part of this advertising contract.
Okay. Okay. So do you think currently what have you done or has LA San done any outreach so far?
We've done actually a significant amount of outreach. We've been working on outreach frankly, since we started the EIR on this. And we've been reaching out. We've reached out to business improvement districts, to different specific types of businesses, special organizations that have special requirements, such as the hospitals and the studios and other organizations as well. We have a long, long history of outreach to these organizations, larger multifamily dwellings and things of that nature. So yes, we have reached out to specific groups. We continue to reach out to them. Some of them we've met with multiple times, and we have no intention of stopping. That's going to be a big part of this program.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so this will just help brand it and just get wider outreach.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Rivas. Commissioner Jacinto.
Thank you. I appreciate as well all my colleagues in terms of the work and the Bureau and the team, Dan and everybody that's been contributing to this tremendous rollout. I'm going to follow up on Commissioner Rivas's comments about the advertising. Commissioner Repenning also had talked about the amount of work and the intensity. The diversity of Los Angeles is right there, and a lot of the commercial, the multifamily markets or sub-markets or micro-markets, if you will, need that language outreach. They need targeted. So I think it's upon us to really secure an advertising firm that has that capacity, or the team, to reach out in multiple languages, in multiple neighborhoods, and multiple geographies across Los Angeles, so we have the maximum participation, which is really what we want to have too. So I'd love to hear a report back as we continue to secure the advertising firm and ensure that they have the capacity in the team to do especially the language outreach.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I would like to let you know that as part of the franchise, we're requiring the contractors to be able to provide translation services. So that is something that we have looked at in the franchise program.
Thank you, ma'am. Anything further on agenda item number 4? Commissioner Repenning has made a motion that we adopt agenda item number 4, seconded by Commissioner Davis. Any objection? With that objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 4. Any issue sending number 4 forthwith? We'll send number 4 forthwith.
And Mr. President, just to clarify, as amended.
Yep, sorry.
Thank you.
Ms. Carlson went through the elaborate explanation, as did Commissioner Repenning, on the amendment of the report. We have the written amendment present, so the motion is as amended.
Thank you.
The second is as amended, and the vote is as amended, and forthwith is as amended. Thank you, Mr. Campos. Thank you both. Appreciate it. Agenda item number 6. Contract award rebid street lighting pole painting project, Unit 6, recommending that the board declare CTG Construction doing business as CT Giorgio Painting Company the first low bidder to be the lowest responsible bidder, and award them a contract for the project for $452,660. Forward a copy of the report to the affected council district offices, and authorize myself or 2 board members to execute the contract for the project upon approval of all required documents by the city attorney. Mr. Spindler, you have a card on number 6 as Wayne from Encino.
All right, good. Low bidder, lowest responsible bidder. See? No games, no stealing, no bribery, no corruption. Just picking the lowest responsible bidder. Not jumping somebody over somebody else like you did with that family company. See, this is good. So let's continue to do this. I know it's only 1 out of 8 items that's actually legitimate, but it's good. So let's keep this going. And since it's 452, though, round it up to 500,000, because you need another $8,000 for hamburgers, lunch, and of course those little plastic gloves they use, protect their hands. Good job.
Thank you, Mr. Spinner. On number 6, Rolando Garcia.
Good morning, Mr. President, Commissioners, Board Reps. Ted Jordan, Executive Officer, Fernando Campos. I'm Rolando Gasias with the Bureau of Street Lighting. Item number 6 is part of our pole painting maintenance program. We have allocated $500,000 per year for an estimated of 1,500 poles. Based on CONAD's review and recommendations, they are declaring to award to City Giorgio Painting, the first low bidder, at the amount of $452,660, which is within the ballpark of our allocated amount of $500K for 1,500 poles. I guess that's it. Any questions?
Thank you, sir. Any questions on agenda item number 6? Commissioner Rivas?
Hi, thank
Hi.
you. The Bureau's estimate for this project was like about $304,000.
Yes.
And the lowest bid came at
Yes.
like 48% high. Why
Yes.
do you think your
It was
estimate
determined during the bid evaluation that the engineer's estimate was really low. And based on the market rates, we did a rebid. The first bid was like 100% high, and the second rebid, we came out to 48% high. So within our budgeted amount, they determined that 500K at 1,500 poles, which is in this case 1,583 poles at 452, is within the ballpark. So they recommended to be awarded in this case.
Yeah, because I noticed the other 2 bids were also about in that range,
Yes.
close to 500,000
Right.
range too. So the first time you did it, it was
The
double?
It was double.
About 600,000
Right.
then? Okay. So then this is the second.
This is the second rebid. And then they determined that a third rebid will not result in
And anything lower?
lower than this one.
Okay. No, that makes sense. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
Thank you, Commissioner Rivas. Commissioner Jacinto?
Thank you, Mr. Garcia. Thank you for the report. I appreciate the fact that all the work is going to be done in 15 council districts. Do we have a distribution of sort of that? Maybe that's, we don't have that, but.
It varies in.
Okay.
It varies in this council district, but it's more concentrated on the downtown area.
Okay, downtown. But there is work being done in all 15 council districts.
Right.
Great. Very good, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything further? Is there a motion on agenda item number 6 by Commissioner Rivas, seconded by Commissioner Jacinto? Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 6. Any issue sending number 6 forthwith? We'll send number 6 forthwith. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Campos, have we made a determination as to whether or not we should move forward with number 7 today after all?
Not yet. I'm actually waiting for item number 5 to be heard. However, I may just get some information if you give me 30 seconds.
Why don't I call number 5 first? Agenda item number 5. Bureaus of Contract Administration and Engineering for Council District 14, Project Labor Agreement, Channel 35 Television Studio, and Pico House Seismic Separation, recommending that the board add the Department of Public Works Project Labor Agreement to this project. Mr. Spindler, Wayne from Encino, you have a card on number 5.
Why not? Increase the amount of money it'll take. See, speaking of all this corruption, I mean, didn't we have FEMA? Didn't they give money for size retrofitting a number of downtown buildings, including this one, of course? 1994, man. That money came out of FEMA. That seismic separation and retrofitting should have been done 22, 23 years ago. But you see, we can't do that. The money's got to keep rolling in, see? Yeah, see, so your Channel 35 folks got to take over this, what's it called, a historical monument. See, I saw him here today. I saw the historical monument guy. He was here with his little beard. Did you see him with his little beard? He wears those glasses. He's an architect. and he sits upstairs at the 10th floor and has the Cultural Heritage Commission. Well, I've looked at this building and I find it to be culturally significant. You know, so he's here today, so no doubt he's a part of this. Must be getting money, see. But he see my ass in here, see, he leaves. See, he get right out of there. So anyway, you got a cultural heritage protected Pico house. Money stolen in 1994 from FEMA for seismic reparations. And then Channel 35 taking it over. This is beautiful, man. Congratulations. Don't cut the mic off. Keep it rolling.
Thank you, Mr. Spinner. On number 5, Ian Monte.
Good morning, Ian Monte, Bureau of Contract Administration. So I won't take too much of your time. Again, this is about adding a project labor agreement to the Channel 35 relocation. This project is estimated to be $21.1 million, and it's going to move the studio from 2nd and San Pedro to 420 North Main. And again, it's going to go with the structural redesign, the historical preservation, and as our friend said, the seismic retrofit or whatnot, where it's actually going to pull off and separate this facility from Pico House. The benefits to doing this, it's twofold. One, it allows the board to put forth yet another project where it's going to more or less initiate local hire provisions on this particular project. We estimate that there'll be 485 potential jobs that can be created with this, and this basically comes from the math that we do when we look at past PLA projects where there are 23 jobs created for every $1 million. Secondly, it's going to actually allow the city, and it's not in the actual report, but it's going to allow the city to be a little more transparent with our operations as it relates to the public. You're putting our television studio, our sound studio in a historically location that the public goes to on a daily basis. And so there's that element where people will actually be able to come and visit, at least to some extent, and really get to understand what's happening with their city in terms of the operations that much more. So with your blessing, we'd love for you guys to go ahead and adopt that addition.
Thank you, Ian. There are a number of things that we discuss on benefits of project labor agreements on various projects. This one doesn't differ at all, as you pointed out. Commissioner Davis?
The City Engineering Bureau will be doing this project. Who's the contractor on this?
This contract is actually currently out for bid, and I expect the bids that are to come in the next week, and the lowest responsible and responsive bidder theoretically would be getting this project. From my understanding, it's not going to be done in-house with city staff.
So it will be out with a prime contractor?
Yes.
So there'll be a bid process?
Absolutely.
And where's the money coming from for this project? Is this, where are the funds coming from? Are it federal funds or are they local funds?
My understanding is it's local funds. It's money from you all.
Okay. And so in this labor agreement, in the PLA, you work with PLAs now?
Yes, yes, I'm one of the administrators.
So we'll have 485 jobs?
Potentially, we're doing math, and, the way that the project labor agreement goes, it's not 30% of the total people there in terms of head counts. It's 30% of the number of hours that are worked as it relates to local hire. So maybe that, translates to 30% of the people, maybe it translates to more. So we're just doing the math, estimating roughly that's 485 jobs.
And so when we do the labor agreement and we get the approximate 485 jobs in whatever capacity we get them, how do we look at and how do we examine the inclusion even in that as we look at that? Does that include people from various communities? I know that in fact they are labor representatives. They are part of the union. Do they also come from various communities?
Well, that's the idea. I don't want to get on my soapbox with this, but, The project labor agreement, and as my boss, John Reamer, would say, this is designed not to just get somebody a job. This is about careers, and this is about reaching out to the two tiers within the project labor agreement. This project actually occurs in zip code 90012, which is in Tier 1, and it's about pulling from those folks within the community that are desiring, you know, a career change or just a second chance or even a third chance. And so our job as the analyst and my job as the supervisor of those analysts is to ensure that my analyst is talking with those contractors to make sure that, hey, are you actually hitting your goals? And if not, you know, figuring out what we can actually do before we start finding them and holding liquidated damages.
Well, no, we certainly support, including Los Angeles, because they are from Los Angeles. We support their being from unions because the training, the level of knowledge and skill there is great. I was just asking the same question I just asked across the board.
Gotcha.
Not only that it's Los Angeles, but it can be as much as all of Los Angeles as we have the capacity to be able to produce. So obviously we have people from labor unions from throughout Los Angeles, and I'm just asking the question as I would ask a prime contractor in his case.
Sure.
I'm asking you in your case as a labor agreement to find out if we have labor members from all of Los Angeles within the capacity that you have to deliver them, was my question.
Absolutely. And we do. Again, I can talk about a lot of different things that are occurring within this city, within the region, but that's one of the things that we strive to do, to make sure that everyone is being represented. And whether it's the Tier 1, the Tier 2 union members or the non-union members, where the contractor is free to go out and hire folks if the unions have not responded within 48 hours. It's just our job to make sure that that local hire number is being met, and that's what we want to do.
Have unions included, most definitely. I think everybody here agrees with that. It's just that when we talk about the back to basic principles and how we all can improve and be even more effective than we were yesterday, then all of us should look at
absolutely
how we can increase all of Los Angeles. And so I appreciate your response.
Thank you.
Commissioner Jacinto.
Thank you. Ian, I just had a question. I'm jumping ahead, but there's an estimated value of the PLA for the Channel 35 studio at $14 million. We're at 21. Is there a difference, or is there?
The board report said 21.1 million. I'm not sure of the 14 million number.
Okay. We'll get that clarification.
Sure.
We'll have a week to get that answer because we're gonna continue that item. Yeah. Okay. Any questions on the PLA issue that's before us? Any further questions? Okay, then we will. Is there a motion for agenda item number 5 by Commissioner Davis, seconded by Commissioner Jacinto? Any objection? Without objection, we will adopt agenda item number 5. Any issue sending it forthwith? We'll send it forthwith. Thank you, Mr. Monte.
Thank you.
As I mentioned, we are continuing agenda item number 8 to a week from today, which will be Monday, March 20th, 2017. Agenda item number 7 was an item we were going to continue. We're not continuing the item. It is regarding bids related to this project and the desire that we move the bids now rather than wait until next week when some bids would have already come in. Mr. Campos, you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, that is correct, Mr. President. Based on the testimony heard here from Ian today in item number 5, which is a related item, recommendation is that the board reconsider this item, reopen it, and then make a vote on the motion before you, which is to extend the bid from March 15th to April 5th to allow additional time for bidders to submit their
Do we
bid.
need to take a vote on reopening the item?
You would.
Okay, then I would make a motion that we reopen the item, seconded by Commissioner Repenning. Any objection? Without objection, we'll reopen the item.
Thank you.
So agenda item number 7, previously continued but now taking place, Council District 14, Channel 35 Television Studio relocation and Pico House structural retrofit, recommending that the board extend the bid date from March 15th to April 5th, 2017, and request that the city engineer advise all prospective bidders of the board's action by addendum. Mr. Spindler has a card on number 7. Does he have any time left, Mr. Campos?
No, he does not. Mr. Spindler has exceeded his 10-minute aggregate rule.
Okay, so Mr. Spindler's time is expired. Agenda item number 7, representative from the Bureau.
There is no representative, Mr. President. However, the item before you is just to continue the bid opening.
We're just pushing the bids 3
Right.
weeks.
My understanding is also that we're issuing a large addendum that includes some specifications, some drawings, and price differentials that bidders would have to take into consideration before they submit their bid.
So we're providing more information to the bidders
That is
as well.
correct. Yes.
All right. Is there a motion on this? By Commissioner Davis, seconded by Commissioner Repenning. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 7, extending the bid date from giving the bidders more time from March 15th to April 5th, 2017. Is there any issue sending number 7 forthwith? We'll send number 7 forthwith. Thank you, Mr. Campos. Other than general public comment, have we cleared the desk?
Yes, you have.
Okay, then general public comment. Mr. Spindler, Wayne from Encino has a card on general public comment. If I did not close the neighborhood council category of commentary, I'll go ahead and do that. All yours, sir.
Okay.
So, remember last year, that little Herb Wesson press conference, there was Mr. Davis standing there with his little bow tie looking so nice. And then another gentleman got up behind him and said that Mr. Spindler should be made an example out of. Yeah. Well, you know, that's something I'll tell you right now. Tell your kids at home, when they're growing up, stay out of a man's personal business. I'm not talking about some bitch. I'm talking about you stay out of a man's personal business, okay? You don't get in a man's personal business unless you want to fucking get in the mud. You don't do that, okay? So it just so happens one of those nice people filed a divorce. And would you know who his attorney was? The mayor of Carson, Albert Robles, was the attorney that filed the divorces for Mr. Price there. Isn't that something? What a fucking coincidence, right? Isn't that nice? Why all this shit? Because you guys cannot stop fucking with people. You got to stop fucking with people. Okay? I go to these meetings, you know, last year, that shit that you did with Herb and all of that bullshit. You get my personal business, you attack my fucking life, my clients, death threats, all that shit. See, you don't do that shit. Stay the fuck out of people's business. But you got to get involved in that, see? Otherwise, none of this fucking shit be happening. So I'm looking for it. Can you tell me where Mr. Price's divorce is? Because I'm fucking looking for it. I got people upstairs. They can't find it. I'm looking for it. Where is it? The answer is fucking nowhere. Checkmate, assholes.
Thank you, Mr. Spinner. We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.